What's happening, everybody? Boy Big Brando, and today let's talk about, is this business even worth getting into? Now, I know that there's a lot of new people that watch my channel. I got a lot of new viewers, and there's a lot more new attention around my channel. So if you're one of those new people, welcome to the channel. But one of the common questions that I get from these new viewers is it even worth it for me to get into this business? Because there's a lot of people already doing it. Is there really any money to be made here? So the way I'll answer that is to say yes and no. You got to remember, whatever you put into this business is what you're going to get out of this business. Just because you buy the equipment doesn't mean that money just starts flowing in. There is a lot of work that's involved with this. And I know there's people that watch a lot of different TikTok videos and YouTube videos, and people make it look very, very easy to package up an order. They're putting all this fancy stuff, wrapping it up in tissue paper, putting stickers on it, making everything look nice. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Branding and packaging is super cool. But what you also have to remember is you have to be able to find whatever groove you want to live in, and then also be able to find the customers within that groove. It's a numbers game. You got to remember, people only buy if people can see the product. If people don't see your products, nobody's gonna buy. So what you have to do is be able to get your products into the faces of your potential customers. Easier said than done, right? There's a lot of different ways you could do it. Running ads, you could do the same marketing strategies that I do to get sales, which is basically engage with customers and stuff like that. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but a lot of people have this weird misconception that just because they buy the equipment, money just rolls in. And that's only half of the battle when it comes to this kind of stuff. You have to have designs that are catchy. You have to have designs that are going to be appealing to your customers. Customer service has to be on point. You have to be able to talk to your customers and actually help them understand why it's good to shop with you. You have to build that trust with the customer. You got to remember, a lot of these people, this is their hard-earned money that they're going to be spending. They don't want to spend their hard-earned money with somebody where they feel like they're just getting ripped off, or with a really crappy product, or whatever it is. And just because there's a lot of other people making t-shirts doesn't mean that there's no room for you to make money in this space either. Have you ever went to the market and looked at the bread aisle, or if you looked at cookie aisle and all? There's just so many different brands making the same exact thing. There's space for everybody on that shelf. But the only advice that I could give anybody that's just starting out in this business is to plan out your attack, understanding where you want to live within this business, live within your means. There's a lot of people that are big dreamers, and then they want to act on all those big dreams, but natural progression that you have to do to reach those goals and dreams. You know what I mean? Nobody just gets their stuff, tomorrow they're booming. They're like, hey, I don't even need this heat press no more because I'm screen printing 10,000 t-shirts. It doesn't really work that way. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that have bigger dreams than what their actual reality is. And you have to be able to understand what's dream, what's a reality, what can really make money right now, and then where you want to be after you're making all this money. But how are you going to get to the money, right? So understanding what you're doing, and then also planning out all your moves, man. Like I said, do not get caught up in seeing any YouTubers or influencers or anybody on social media saying this is all you got to do, invest in this and then do this, blah blah blah. Nah, man, work with whatever budget you have, right? If your budget only allows for you to get a $200, $300 heat press, get that $200, $300 heat press. If your budget only allows for you to get a Cricut or a Cameo cutter, get that Cricut or Cameo cutter. Do not go broke trying to make money. You know what I mean? That's the worst thing that you could do. There's so many people out here that's like, hey, buy this DTG printer. It's only 30 grand. Or they'll be like, buy this DTG printer. I won't even tell you the price. You go and check it out. They show you the convenience and how cool it is. But then it comes with that $30,000 price tag. And it's like, well, do you really want to spend $30,000? And they're like, oh, you're going to be making $10,000 a week with this $30,000 DTG machine. That's not how the shit works. They're not telling you how you're going to be getting the business. They're just telling you what this machine can do, and they're making empty promises to you. So don't believe all that shit. I say this all the time, but consume the content from people that are doing exactly what you want to do. Because me personally, I'm not trying to put nobody in debt. I have the opportunity to buy more expensive heat presses, but I don't need a more expensive heat press. This HPN Signature Pro does everything I need it to do. So it's like, why would I even go have to upgrade to another press when this press does everything I need it to? I've been operating off a Signature series for the last 12 years, 10 years, 12 years, and then I just recently got this one in 2020 without having to quote unquote upgrade. The only reason I got this one was because of the Sure pressure knob, and that was it. So can you make money within this business? Hell yeah. But you got to remember, you got to put the work in to get something out of it. What always helps me is to think outside the box. If everybody else is doing this, you might see this all the time. If you're on Etsy and you're watching people make money on Etsy, a lot of times they're sharing a lot of these SVG files. So everybody kind of has the same exact designs, and they might be cool looking designs or whatever it is. But you got to remember, if 18 people on Etsy are selling the same exact product, how are you going to set yourself apart from the other 18 that are using the same exact files that you want to use? You know what I mean? It might be a cool seasonal type of design and you're like, oh shit, man, they're selling that SVG for like $1 or $2, let me buy it so I could sell it. But if you're selling the same exact design on Etsy amongst the same people you've seen using that design or selling it, how do you stand out in the crowd? You know what I mean? Are you going to lower your prices, cut the cost so you could shit on everybody else? You have to figure out how you're gonna stand out amongst everybody else doing it. The way I do this is I think outside the box, and it sounds really cliche and it's kind of weird, but I like to find the opportunity to make designs and t-shirts for a group of people that don't necessarily know they need these t-shirts. You know what I mean? Because it's just easier to make money that way. So if we just did the Churro Brand, for example, when I started the Churro Brand, I think it was like 2 years ago or something like that, the whole idea was to make these t-shirts geared towards people that go to Disneyland and eat churros. There's a million other people on Etsy making Disneyland themed t-shirts, Disney themed t-shirts. Was I gonna go out and use the Mickey ears? Was I gonna use the castle with the little arch thing over it? Nah, I wasn't doing all that because everybody was already doing that. This is my first trip to Disneyland, selling it to the whole family. Yeah, that's cool. But for myself, I took a different approach and was like, you know what? People go to Disneyland, they love the food at Disneyland. Let me hone in on that. So not a lot of people making churro t-shirts. What I ended up doing was making a churro t-shirt for Disneyland goers. So how does that work? It just sets me apart from everybody else that's selling Disneyland related t-shirts. For myself, I'm selling something that's very popular within Disneyland. It says nothing about Disneyland on it, but when you see the t-shirt, people understand what it is. They understand where they could wear that shirt, and they understand the need for the shirt. So that's how I do this. You know what I mean? Like the complaint department. You see, hey, shout out to everybody that bought this shirt. This shirt sells out faster than the Problem Solver design, which is really cool. And also the hoodie sold out like crazy, really fast. So appreciate everybody for liking this design, because I appreciate this small, very subtle and plain simple design myself. So if you like this too, and the people that bought it, appreciate that. But outside of that, the whole reason I'm making this, it wasn't to make big brando merch. It was mainly to create merch around people that dislike my video, for the people that complain about my videos. Turning that negative into a positive for myself is the funniest shit ever to me, right? There's so many people that complain about my channel, the way I talk, the shit that I'm talking about. That to me is just ammo for myself to make money off of the people that are negative about myself. So the people that, there's like a handful of guys that always thumbs down the videos. The best part about it is I'm making money off of these thumbs downs, which they don't understand, but I do on my end, right? So celebrating the complainers is my way of creating merch outside of Big Brando's YouTube channel, right? If I just made shirts that say Big Brando, who the hell wants to walk around the streets with a t-shirt that says my name on it? That's dumb as hell, right? But if I make shit like this, anybody that deals with complainers any time of the day, anywhere in their life, can benefit from wearing this, right? So for myself, it's always taking a whole different approach than what everybody else is doing, and that's always worked for myself. In every brand and every business I've been into, it's always worked like that for me, is thinking outside of the box. Like I said, that's a cliche thing of saying, but it's always worked for me. If everybody is going left, it's easy for me to go right and create my own lane. So I told Patreon this, and for myself, I've never been the type to bust my ass and work hard just to get a seat at the table. I've always been the type that I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna build my own table to eat at. You know what I mean? So with that mentality, it helps me every single time whenever I'm starting these businesses or thinking of t-shirt designs or whatever I'm doing. When it comes to marketing, when it comes to all of that stuff, it's thinking outside of the box, not thinking like the normal person, because it's easier for me to think like a customer and figure out what exactly works. If I keep thinking like a business, it's only gonna be appealing to other businesses. But when I think like a customer, it'll appeal to a customer, you know what I mean? So if you were on the fence about getting into this business, jump right in. There's room for everybody to make money. Just understand that you have to put in some work when you're doing this. Is the work hard? Yeah. Is the work very, very tedious? Sometimes it is. But the payoff is great. When you get into that flow and you're just knocking out orders, banging out t-shirts, and people are wearing your designs, the shit is rewarding in itself. You know what I mean? So I encourage everybody to jump in. I encourage everybody to not invest a ton of money in equipment. Buy the basics that you need. Vinyl cutter and a heat press. Get going. Couple blank t-shirts, one roll of vinyl, you'll be in the game, start making shit, making money. Don't listen to all these other people saying you got to do this or you can't do this and all. Man, fuck all that. I operate like that. I got a heat press, I got a vinyl cutter. This is how I operate. I make a nice living doing this, show you guys what I do, how I do it. So it is possible. If my dumb ass could do it, you guys could do this shit too, you know what I mean? So hopefully this helped you out. If you were even on the fence about starting a business or getting into this t-shirt business and you were kind of worried or whatever it was, fuck all that, man. Get your feet wet, buy some inexpensive equipment, see if it works for you. Don't drop a fat budget on none of this shit, you know what I mean? All you gotta do is buy what you need at the moment. You can always upgrade later, all right? If you got any questions, leave it in the comments. Follow me on Instagram, BigBrandoTV. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.